pins and needles start in the soles of your feet. Not when you've been sitting too long. Not after a workout. Just standing in the shower, warm water running over your ankles, and suddenly there is this fizzing, electric feeling crawling up through your toes. You shift your weight. You flex. It does not stop. Some mornings it is not pins and needles at all. It is numbness, like someone wrapped the bottoms of your feet in cotton while you slept. You have probably blamed circulation, or aging, or sitting at a desk all day. But what if the thing irritating your nerves is sitting in your medicine cabinet, inside a bottle you bought specifically to protect them? There is a specific compound in nearly every B complex on the market that, at certain doses, shuts down the enzyme your peripheral nerves depend on. The more you take, the less your body can use. One case documented a man who developed progressive nerve damage from a standard daily multivitamin, taken over 10 years. In this video, I am going to show you exactly how this happens inside your nerve cells, which form of this vitamin causes the damage and which form does not, and why a basic blood test will not catch it. Then I will walk you through what to look for on a supplement label and a simple switch that takes about 30 seconds at the store. If you're new here, welcome to Yellowhead Science, where we break down real health and lifestyle science in a way that actually makes sense. Join us, hit subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss a video. Here is something most health videos will never tell you. The form of vitamin B6 that is in almost every supplement you can buy is called Pyridoxine. It is cheap to manufacture, it is shelf-stable, and it is in everything. Multivitamins, B complexes, energy drinks, fortified cereals, protein powders. Your body does not actually use pyridoxine directly. It has to convert it first. Inside your liver, an enzyme called pyridoxal kinase, think of it as a lock and key converter, takes pyridoxine and transforms it into the active form your cells can actually work with. That active form is called pyridoxal 5' phosphate, or P5P for short. Now here is where the paradox kicks in. When pyridoxine levels get too high in your system, the unconverted pyridoxine starts competing with the active form for space on that same enzyme. It physically blocks the converter. Picture a factory assembly line where the raw materials start clogging the machinery. The more raw material you pour in, the fewer finished products come out the other end. Your blood work shows plenty of B6 floating around, but your peripheral nerves, the ones in your hands and feet, are starving for the version they can actually use. This is not a fringe theory. Researchers have mapped exactly how pyridoxine binds to a specific site on the enzyme, a spot called lysine 229, and forms a chemical bond that locks the enzyme shut. The technical name for this bond is a Schiff base, which is essentially a molecular handcuff. The enzyme cannot do its job while that handcuff is in place. So if this enzyme gets blocked everywhere in the body, why do you feel it in your fingers and toes first? The answer comes down to anatomy. Your sensory nerves send signals through clusters of cells called dorsal root ganglia, basically relay stations along your spine. Unlike most nerve tissue, these relay stations do not have a tight protective barrier around them. Most of your nervous system is shielded by something similar to the blood-brain barrier, a biological security gate that controls what gets in and what stays out. Your dorsal root ganglia are exposed. Whatever is circulating in your blood, including excess pyridoxine, has direct access. When excess pyridoxine reaches these unprotected neurons, it disrupts a signaling molecule called gamma-aminobutyric acid, or GABA, your nervous system's main calming signal. GABA normally tells sensory neurons when to fire and when to stay quiet. It is the difference between a calm, organized communication network and one where every nerve is shouting over every other nerve. Without proper GABA signaling, those neurons start misfiring on their own. That is the tingling. That is the numbness. That is the burning sensation that does not match anything you physically did to your body. And because the longest nerves in your body run all the way from your lower spine to your toes, they're the first ones to show symptoms. The further a nerve has to travel from the spinal cord, the more vulnerable it is to this kind of disruption. That is why the feet go first, then the hands, and in severe cases, the damage works its way inward. Now you might be thinking, I only take a normal multivitamin. I'm not megadosing anything. And that is exactly the problem. One published case study followed a 73-year-old man who developed progressive numbness in his hands and feet over 3 years. His only supplement was a daily multivitamin containing 6 milligrams of pyridoxine. When doctors tested his blood, his B6 level was more than double the upper limit of normal. His nerve damage had already begun spreading from sensory fibers into motor fibers. When he stopped the multivitamin, his dizziness resolved within a month, and his numbness started to improve. But it did not go away completely. 6 milligrams. That is not a megadose. That is not even close to the amounts you find in some energy drinks, where a single can might contain 9, 20, even 40 milligrams of pyridoxine. The issue is accumulation. You are stacking B6 from your multivitamin, your energy drink, your fortified breakfast cereal, and your protein shake. None of those individual amounts seem dangerous on their own. But your liver is processing all of them through the same enzyme, and that enzyme has a ceiling. There is another layer to this that almost nobody discusses. As your body ages, the efficiency of that liver conversion process declines. The enzyme that converts pyridoxine into the active P5P form does not work as well as it used to. This means that the same dose you tolerated fine at 35 might start causing problems at 55. Not because you changed anything, but because your conversion machinery slowed down. And here is the part that makes this genuinely tricky. A standard blood test for vitamin B6 measures total pyridoxal phosphate in your blood. If you are taking pyridoxine supplements, that number can look perfectly normal or even elevated. The test does not distinguish between the active form your nerves can use and the unconverted pyridoxine that is blocking the enzyme. You could walk out of your doctor's office with a blood result that says your B6 is fine, while your peripheral nerves are slowly being damaged. I want to be clear about something here. The science on low-dose susceptibility is still evolving. Controlled studies have not documented nerve damage below 200 milligrams per day. But individual case reports have appeared at doses as low as 24 milligrams. We do not fully understand why some people are more vulnerable than others at lower doses. That is the honest reality, and any video that gives you a single, universal, safe number without that caveat is oversimplifying it. So what do you actually do about this? The answer is simpler than you might expect, and it starts with one specific change. Look at the back of your B complex or multivitamin label. Find the line that says vitamin B6. If it says pyridoxine hydrochloride or pyridoxine HCl, that is the form your body has to convert. The form that can block its own enzyme at higher levels. What you want instead is pyridoxal 5'-phosphate, listed as P5P on the label. This is the already active form. It bypasses the liver conversion step entirely, which means it does not compete with itself on that enzyme. In cell studies, P5P showed minimal toxicity to neurons compared to pyridoxine. Now, beyond just switching the form, you need to audit your total daily intake. Add up every source of B6 you consume in a day: your supplement, your energy drink, your fortified foods. The current expert consensus puts the long-term safe ceiling at 50 milligrams per day total, with a maximum of 100 milligrams for up to 5 years under medical supervision. If you are anywhere near those numbers from stacking multiple sources, that is worth paying attention to.
If you already have symptoms, tingling, numbness, burning in your hands or feet, the first step is to stop all pyridoxine-containing supplements and see your doctor. There is something called the coasting phenomenon you should know about. In the first 2 to 6 weeks after stopping, your symptoms may actually get worse before they get better. This is normal. It does not mean you made the wrong decision. Peripheral nerves regenerate slowly, roughly 1 inch per month. Most people see meaningful improvement within 6 months, though full resolution is not guaranteed in every case. For nerve support during recovery,
Alpha-lipoic acid at 600 milligrams per day has shown the strongest evidence for reducing neuropathy symptoms. It works as a powerful antioxidant that protects nerve mitochondria, the tiny power plants inside each nerve cell that generate the energy needed for signal transmission. When those mitochondria are damaged, the nerve cannot produce enough energy to maintain itself, let alone repair. Alpha-lipoic acid helps keep that energy production running. And benfotiamine, a fat-soluble form of vitamin B1, at 300 milligrams per day has been studied for protecting nerves through a different mechanism entirely. It blocks several inflammatory pathways that contribute to nerve damage, including one called the Advanced Glycation End Product Pathway, or AGE pathway. Essentially a process where excess sugar molecules bind to proteins and damage tissue over time. Both alpha-lipoic acid and benfotiamine target nerve health through mechanisms that do not involve the same enzyme that pyridoxine disrupts, which makes them safe to take alongside your corrected B6 form. The hardest part about this is that most people never think to question the supplement they bought specifically to help their nerves. You trusted the label. You trusted the dose. And nothing on that label warned you that the form of B6 inside could work against you. But now you know the difference. You know what pyridoxine does to that enzyme. You know why your nerves feel it first. And you know that a 30-second label check is all it takes to make a smarter choice. The form matters, and now you know why. If this changed how you think about your B vitamins, leave a comment and tell me. Have you ever checked what form of B6 is in your supplement? I love reading every single one. And if you want more science-backed health lifestyle strategies designed for someone just like you, make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss the next one. I will see you in the next video.